I think we played with more consistency Saturday. I think our players prepared the right way. I think our coaches had a good plan, and the players executed the plan. We still are searching for more players that can play winning football, in particular on defense. I think our depth becomes an issue, as you can see in the second half. But certainly we took a step forward, I think, in every aspect. So, you know, good to get a conference road win. Anytime you can do that, it's a positive. You know, we need momentum. We need to build some confidence, and I think we did that. So, got our hands full this week with a New Mexico State team that has won 2 in a row. They've switched quarterbacks, and the new quarterback is playing well for them. And defensively, they're unique in what they do. They're an aggressive style and certainly can present some issues for you. So with that being said, we'll take a few questions here.
You were talking about this a little bit the other night. What can you do to coach better starts, first half and second half offensively?
Well, that's a great question. That's something we're searching for, you know, and I myself have spent a lot of time thinking about it. I think it's more about having the mental intensity and the urgency to go do your job, you know. One thing that I really believe is the quality of your roster, the scout teams that maybe you practice against the majority of the week. We do quite a bit of good on good, but I think when you have roster depth issues, the player you're practicing against when you're going against the look squad is not as good of a player, not as big, not as fast. So there may be an adjustment period there. Coach used to say all the time the bottom 40% of your roster will dictate how much improvement you make throughout the year. And that starts to make more and more sense. So we need to add more quality players to our roster. We need to continue to recruit good, you know, preferred walk-on candidates. The quality of the practice environment has a lot to do with what type of team you see on Saturday. Because football is a developmental game. You know, it's iron sharpens iron, year-round player development. And certainly every time you practice, the better the player across from you is, the more demanding it is on you. And we still have some issues and some deficiencies when it comes to our roster. So I think those are things as we go forward here we'll continue to work on.
Having said that, does that change maybe your recruiting? We going after a little stronger than others?
Well, no. I mean, we're going to try to recruit all players that fit what brand of football we want to play, players that pass our evaluation. And that's one of the best things about this job, in my opinion, is there's lots of good football players within a car's drive from here. And, you know, I think as we go forward and we continue to recruit at a high level, make good decisions, we want to put the best 85 we can put together, and our administration's allowed us to add another, you know, 50 to that. So we're going to have a big, fast, physical team and a great group of walk-ons that contribute, and hopefully we can continue to award some walk-ons, some scholarships each year going forward.
Coach, Eli had a big night Saturday. Obviously, he gets all the glory. What did you see from the offensive line that allowed him the ability to gain so many yards?
Well, anytime you rush the ball, I think everybody's involved. You know, not only the offensive line, but the tight ends, the receivers did a really good job on the perimeter. You know, handling the safeties. They strained. They played with extra effort. But, you know, we just communicated better. We executed with more consistency. We played with good leverage and fundamentals. And the staff put together a really good plan. So I think in general, all benefited, you know. And when we can rush the ball like that, it not only helps the offensive team, it makes the throw game simpler, helps the quarterback, but it also helps the defense, you know. We can keep their play count down and stay on the field. It helps keep third down manageable, which we benefited from. We had a good day on third down. So, you know, I think football is an old-fashioned game. You rush the ball, you stop the run, and everything revolves around that to some degree.
Going back to the personnel, you're saying you got to find more guys who can help on defense, but at least for this season, there's only one place, and that's who you have now.
Right.
So who are some of those guys that maybe can develop mid-season? We talked about Solomon the other day.
Yeah, we need guys like Trevante Booker to emerge and play with more consistency. We need him to be more accountable and dependable. We need Masri Maypew and Tamaji Porter to continue to grow and develop as true freshmen at nose. Cameron Solomon's a guy as of late that's come on. We need, Blair Brooks is a guy who's playing more snaps. We need him to continue to develop as a young player. Eric Guerra is doing a really good job. Kamar Greenhouse is a guy that, Dejon Dorsey. I mean, we've got kind of the middle of the pack is the way I described it to the team yesterday, is we need the middle of the pack to make progress and get in position where they're dependable and we can put them out there and they can play at a high level. So, this is the things that most football teams are going through this time of year. And certainly we've got our challenges, but that's one of the areas where I think we can take a step forward.
What's the status of Keenan Barnes?
Keenan will be back with us this week practice, need to practice Sunday. We had to trim the roster to 70 because it was a conference game. He missed reps throughout the week, and typically my philosophy is if you don't practice, you don't play. He had some personal issues on Sunday, and then his knee's been aggravating him a little bit. He's a little bit limited. So we felt like Khalif Gossett had done a good job and, had taken the majority of the reps. So we had to make some decisions based off special teams, so Keenan stayed at home.
Did Miller come out okay, and was there anybody else that got banged?
Say it one more time.
Tarek Miller? Yeah,
Tariq's doing good. He, he's had that same injury for a couple weeks now, but I think the report this morning was he was moving around better, and we expect to have him back. He did participate in practice Sunday, a little bit modified, but he did go.
Nobody else got dinged up?
We're pretty healthy. Zion did a pretty good bit of work on Sunday. He has, got a chance to play this week. We'll know more after we see him participate on Tuesday and Wednesday. McCaskill is doing better. He did more Sunday, and we'll see where he's at on Tuesday and Wednesday as well. But for the most part, we got out of there pretty healthy.
You mentioned about New Mexico State and what they do on defense. What specific challenges do you guys see?
I think their defensive coordinator is one of the better coaches around. He's a veteran DC at Boston College. Was the head coach there for 4 years as well. Since then, he's made the move to New Mexico State, and you could see where they're playing better and better. They've just had the injury bug on defense. They've had some of their better players have been banged out, banged up and missed. So I think, they present a number of challenges. They got some good players over there. But the way they're structured, the way they're put together, I think they understand what they're doing, and they can present some issues to you. It's going to take a great week of prep to play well against them.
Burns hadn't played a lot of American football. What are some of the things that he's kind of like still trying to figure out, and what do you guys need to do to maybe put a punt game?
Yeah, hang time. I mean, I think, he had a couple punts that maybe didn't meet the criteria from a hang time standpoint on Saturday. One of them led to a big return, but in all reality, if we can just play with better leverage, make the tackle, first man down, we still need to improve from a punt cover standpoint. I think that that's an area where we can get better execution. We need guys to do their job better. So we worked on that Sunday night, and certainly Reese is very capable, very talented, and has shown that he can do his job at a high level. Just a little more consistency, a little more poise, and he's going to be just fine. He's a great competitor. It's not too big for him. He's what we're looking for.
You said after the game, based on the defense, you're going to have to change coaching the offense. What does that mean?
Well, I think we need to keep the play count under control. I think that's where when we fatigue, when the play count gets too high for certain players, we're not as effective. And we're going to change some of the rotations. But, we're getting a pulse on who we are, in terms of all three phases working together. In the first half is the best example of that. We worked together in all three phases and played winning football. But as the game went, 2 3 and outs to start the second half. They throw the ball around a little bit. The play count starts to get up there. We were able to answer, which was huge in the game, but certainly you could see the fatigue in the fourth quarter there because the play count was getting up there and they were able to put some drives together. So rotating the players, you know, keeping an eye on the play count throughout the game and making sure we're adjusting on offense relative to that, I think it's a big deal. So most important thing we can do on offense is score points. You know, let's don't get too complicated here. But, you know, in general, how we do that and the ability to be a little more methodical and not such big and little, you know. We're chunk play. We're a little too big and little, in my opinion. We need to be a little more methodical on offense. And to get that way, you got to play with great consistency.
Mexico State has changed quarterbacks. What kind of new dynamic does the new guy bring to the team?
Well, he's playing a lot better, in my opinion. I think they went 4 games there with a junior college kid that they had brought in. Didn't quite live up to maybe what they were expecting. And then I think the rookie has played much more efficiently. They do have some skill. They've got some outside receivers that got some height and length and can stretch the field. They've got a little slot that's pretty dangerous, and they've got good play out of the 2 backs they have. So the offensive line is a returning group. You know, they did graduate quite a few explosive offensive players, but I think they've got enough to create some issues for you. So this will be a good challenge, and certainly they've got some confidence after winning 2 in a row.
Coach, is it easy to motivate these guys because everything you want to accomplish is still out in front of you? I mean, you guys have the meet your schedule basically coming
Right.
up here.
Well, in general, I think that's one of the things I've been really pleased with is this is a group that does exactly what we ask them to do. They do it with great effort, a good attitude. We've had very little resistance, you know. The ones that have stuck around, man, they're blue collar. They show up. They got no problem with working. And I think they're starting to realize that that can pay off for them. And what I want is I want them to get rewarded for their work. So I think that hopefully they got a good taste of that Saturday and we can do it some more in the future.
Since you're going out of conference for one more game, do you just kind of present this as another opportunity to get one toward the 6 or more?
Yeah, you know, briefly we talked about the conference situation at the beginning of the week last week, but in general we want to prepare a certain way regardless of who we play. So, you know, I think the key is how you go about that. You know, what did you maximize your Sunday, and we're halfway through Monday here. Have you done everything you need to do? Did you watch the cut-ups you're supposed to watch? Did you make the most of the recovery session that we had earlier? Are you doing everything that you can do from a self-discipline standpoint, eating, hydration, sleep? You know, ultimately this is a game where a lot of people got to make a lot of decisions and invest in themselves and invest in the team for the team to have success. And the more guys we got doing that, the better chance we have to have success on Saturday.
Coach, what's been your experience with homecoming as a football coach?
Well, I think it's a great opportunity for the players to represent the university and the community and all the people that came before them the right way. You know, and that's the objective this week is to carry ourselves the right way, represent the people the right way, and play a brand of football they can be proud of. Our players will be excited, and I think it adds a little bit of extra motivation to the table. But I think it's a great opportunity for our players to take part in the events, realize that that's for them down the road as well. You know, they'll be coming back, and it's an opportunity to reflect on where they're at, where they want to go, and certainly the lessons from the past as well. So, you know, it's an exciting time of the year, and I'm excited about our crew showing up. Hopefully we can make this a difficult place to play on Saturday.
Time for a couple more, please.
If you could control how many hours were in a day, how many would you have to play for?
Well, I can't control. Great hypothetical question, but we get 24, you know, and I think so far this week we're working pretty good. We'll keep getting better, though.